Hey, welcome in. Today we are back doing another tiny career home in The Sims 4. This one's a little different. Usually I put in my title like, oh, it's a engineer career home, tiny home. We're leaving it as the caboose for this moment in time because I just thought that it would be really fun to build a train car house in The Sims 4. Literally engineer. There's like so many in real life, like so many different things and routes you can go with this career. But I once knew an engineer who worked on the railroad. So I thought it would be a lot of fun to go that route and create a train car tiny home. We are in Evergreen Harbor. There is a bar called the Caboose, and really it just looks like an old railroad like stopping point. It isn't shaped like a caboose in any way, but I really like the idea of creating a little train car that someone just converted into their tiny home. I've definitely never done it before. It takes a moment of playing around to decide how it's gonna look, really try to make it immediately noticeable as a train car. Those doors from Discover University, super nice. There's also some ones that I use it for the bathroom from Strangerville. It kind of more so looks like a subway door in my opinion, but it works. That one right there. It looks really cool, and I toy with the idea of using it as my main doors, but I really like the Discover University ones. They just fit the vibe. I also use one of the talking toilets because it's an engineer. I mean, I feel like that it is a possibility that they would have a talking toilet. I just do. And so, talking toilet, here we are. It's been a while since I've used a talking toilet. And honestly, I don't know if I would appreciate a talking toilet in real life. Sounds a little cringy to me, a little weird. But there you go. We also make use of a Murphy bed and a galley kitchen. We use the vault counters, and I just think that this looks really cool in the end. It's a very fun converted train car. I don't know what to tell you. I love this house. I think it's really cool. I mostly thought of like a bachelorette living here, someone who is single and just throws their life into their career. And so, like I said, this is a house for an engineer. When you are in the engineer career, you're going to be dabbling with the robotics. So you definitely need the little robotic workstation, which I put right next to your kitchen. I end up making it like a little hallway with your bathroom and your robotic station, which separates your kitchen and your living room, which I think is really cool. Definitely give you a computer just because you're going to need to work on your programming skill as an engineer. I pretty early on decide we're going to play with Dream Home Decorator, make this really fabulous built-in TV nook with a bookcase and a closet, which really checks off all these things, right? You need a bookcase. You just need it, right? But you also need clothes to have like a little dresser moment and to really come full circle and feel like a home. So it was easy to go ahead and use Dream Home Decorator and get all those things in one. Your TV goes in the middle and you've got your bookshelf, you got some shoes and some clothes hanging. Across the way is your Murphy bed, your computer. I loved it. I felt like it really came together in that sense. Honestly, this whole house comes together pretty quickly for me, if I'm honest. The inside just felt good. I just kind of had an idea immediately of what I was going for and what I wanted it to look like. The outside is a different story. Landscaping was not my friend on this one, and it's rough. Rough. Sorry, it's kind of late. I get to use one of my favorite wallpapers, which is from the Jungle Adventure Pack. I love the tiles. I think they're super pretty. They are really universal. Like, I feel like you can make them work in a lot of different spaces. We definitely use the gray tone. This house stays in a lot of gray, blues, and yellows, which I think works really well. Also, in the engineer career, you're gonna need some woodworking skills. So we've got the little woodworking table outside. A little bit about the engineer career. It comes with the Discover University pack, which makes sense because you can go to college for the robotics, all that good stuff. And basically 1 through 6 of your career, you're tinkering at the robotics station. And then you get to split off to computer engineer or a mechanical engineer. And those are levels 7 through 10. I use these really cool, long, slender windows. And I think they are super fitting for a train. I thought about using the ones that I use in the front, the little kind of short rectangles. I didn't like the way they looked. I liked the long open windows. And something weird happens. You saw in my little second roof, my little bump up, that I had windows. Somehow they like go down into the house at some point. It's really weird. And I have to like go back through and redo all my walls. And it's a pain, but we get it worked out in the end. Also, I really love that get to work window that's on the end of the caboose, but it takes away having a door in the back. And I really felt like we needed a back door. We obviously have a little area out there. I do connect a little porch. So as much as I loved that window, it also clipped a little bit into the counters in the kitchen and the cabinets. But it was a really pretty option. And I think if you were just going to build a train car house and you didn't need anything right there, you could make that space open or something, I think it could really work. So note to self, if you build a train car house, that really cool get to work window that's arched, totally fit the vibes. Now I know that I'm putting a TV and a bed in front of the windows. I am good with it. The robotic station's in front of a window too. I think at a certain point when you're conserving space in a small home, sometimes you have to put things where you normally wouldn't. So in my space where I live, I have some shelving and bookcases kind of up in front of my windows because I need the space. I need the wall space. In this build, I didn't want to give up having a window there. Obviously, there's lots of windows in train cars, passenger cars. So I definitely wanted there to be windows. And I felt like it was appropriate to cover them with other things that if you were moving into a small space, you need the wall space for things like your TV and your bed and your robotic station, apparently. I do put a little speaker in that bookshelf so you can play some music as well. Make sure you turn it off though, otherwise your sim will wake up repeatedly. Just something to note if you play in this house. I also get to put the cute little train on top of the shelf. It felt very fitting for this house. I only wish that there were more pieces so it could take up the whole top of the shelf. I was really loving this window. I like the way it looks. I think it's okay that it's clipping. I was gonna make it work, but it felt really important that there be a back door onto the little back patio area. Plus, I feel like there would be a back door. You know what I mean? I add a little mirror right here so that way your sim has a full-size mirror that looks like it's bolted onto the wall. So this is a small home. You're going to get some really great perks as well as an increase in your skill building, bills being lower. That's really why we do this, right? I started this little challenge for myself because there's so many careers and jobs that you can do. And tiny homes are really amazing when you're trying to build that skill up, make sure your sim is happy all the time, decrease your bills. If you're trying to get through your career, this is what you want to do, right? You want to have a tiny home so that way you're getting through all those skills. Like I said, you need woodworking and programming, and you're going to want to work on your robotics skill. All those things take time. Earning and learning your skills takes a decent amount of time as well. It's just a little fun to be able to utilize what The Sims 4 gives you with tiny living to be able to increase skill faster, increase your relationships faster. I mean, the perks are really great and they do go by tiers. So this is a middle tier. It is a small home. So you don't get the best perks because that's in a 34 tile home, which is actually kind of insane. It's super small. I have done one, but I really like the 64 tile home. I think that you can get a lot of space, have a full functioning house. It look really cute. Not that you can't have a cute house at a 34 tile, but this is like the sweet spot in my opinion. Also, don't mind all this landscaping. I really wanted this house to have this almost like overgrown feel that fit in with the environment. And so I was utilizing debug. I really struggled on landscaping. I felt like I had the vision in my head, but I wasn't sure exactly how to execute it. It takes a good minute to get there. this becomes my little backyard area. I do fence it in with this eco lifestyle fencing. At this point, I went ahead and moved my little low fencing out, and I do have grass tile under the house and around the house that I get rid of at this point, and we really just focus on using terrain paint. I lower the house down so that way I can get in there and add this landscaping. So I'm using these little white flowers. They're like the lavender flowers, but if you go into debug, you can choose a color, and they have blue, yellow, purple, obviously, and they have this white, which I felt like the white really vibed with what I was going for. I used some little white daisies, I used some grass, and try and keep in this color scheme of a more yellow grass, because I felt like it fit the vibe of the house and the environment better. So as you see them in debug, and they are the purple ones, you go ahead, change the swatch, and you can get the white ones. And I just think it looks really cool at this point. It gives this almost like unkept, overgrown feel, but still manicured while it sits behind a fence. Finally getting rid of all the excess debug, all the extra landscaping things that I had. I'm going to get rid of everything. And we really are just sticking with this vibe of the few plants that I'm using and try and keep it a little more retained. Not so much. I really pulled out a lot of debug thinking that I was just going to use everything. And in my head, I still see it, you know, like what I was hoping that I could accomplish. I just didn't know how to lay it out. And I think that this really works well. I'm happy with it. We use a little trick where we lower the house down, get the plants a little closer to the foundation, and then we can pull the house back up onto its foundation, which I used the stilted foundation. Looked up some reference pictures of what some houses look like, and I see them using like lattice work foundations, but I like the idea of stilts. Maybe they raised it up, took out the undercarriage. I don't know if that's even possible, but you know, maybe they did. All right, we are getting closer to being done. I'm telling you, this house took me no time at all. It just came down to the landscaping that I struggled so much with. And sometimes it be like that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the house is the easy part, and the outside you're just like throwing your hands up, trying not to throw hands. All right, finally getting rid of the rest of the stuff. Landscaping, I'm gonna kind of clean it up a little bit. We're gonna put some tile in the backyard. I actually used the Batu stone work in the backyard because it's pretty. I don't know what to tell you. I also wanted to make this phone booth work at some point, but it just never does, and it's okay. I'm gonna make a build with it one day. One day I will be inspired enough to make a build with the phone booth. I just think it's so cute. I also put a giant billboard on the lot. Oh no, that's right. I do use terrain paint. This little stone. We are basically done. Let's jump into these screenshots. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I forgot about that. I'm telling you, landscaping literally was a struggle. If you like this build, it is play tested on the gallery, ready for you in your sim to tackle the engineer career that comes with Discover University. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. I really appreciate every single one of you. I love this build so much. I think it was so fun, and I really enjoyed getting to make a caboose. Make a train car tiny home. I hope you have a great night wherever you are. Bye, y'all.